Well, guess what, folks? It's time to do the in-mail again. I've done 5 of them already, I think. Oh, yeah. This is strange. Ed Whitney was kind enough to stop at Seymour, Connecticut. No, let me start over again. Dick Campana, who lives in downtown Boston, Copley Square, and owns a townhouse that must be worth, what would you say? $1 million? Yeah. And he sent me, he went over to Boston Public Access, Boston Neighborhood Network, and he was kind enough to pick up my DVD discs for me. And he was kind enough to mail them to me. But guess what, folks? They arrived at the Ghent post office. An empty envelope arrived, and there were no discs in them. Now, Roxanne was kind enough to take the empty envelope. Instead of forwarding it to the other post office, she was kind enough to take the empty envelope, and in person she walked it over to the Kinderhook post office. Now, what do you suppose happened? Here's the empty envelope. What do you suppose happened? To Glendora, Box 124, Ghent, and from Boston, Mass. What do you suppose happened? Well, thank you, Post Office, for telling me. It was very nice, and I'm sorry whatever we did wrong. So I called Dick Campana and told him what I just told you. And then I called Scott Bartlett, the Reverend Scott Bartlett in California, who used to be the Lutheran minister in Willimantic, Connecticut. And he said he'd call me right back. He said there was somebody in his office recycling computer material. And then Northern Trust is behind $160 in pension payments. Thank you, Franklin. Gannett, the Gannett newspapers. So they said those would go out today. Oh, that's nice. And now we're looking at the Folsom Bulletin. This is the Folsom Family Association of America. And they're having, I thought we had our 100th reunion last year. Why are they calling it 95th? And they're having it in St. Paul. And here's a new feature that Francis Wooden started up. Glendora's Corner. I don't know if this is all. This is Glendora Folsom is a noted television personality who has appeared on Bob Hope Show and the David Letterman Show. She is best known for her own television show entitled A Chat with Glendora, of which there are over 5,000 shows that can be seen on both your local cable access station and on YouTube.com. Please find below some of her jokes. Well, okay. I'm sure you've heard these jokes. But what's the difference between a Xerox machine and the flu, folks? A Xerox machine makes facsimiles and the flu makes sick families. There's one thing that keeps me from being rich. What? Money. I'm a square, so I have corners. I didn't put that in. Somebody else did. Adult. What do you want to be when you grow up? Boy. A philanthropist. Adult. Why? Boy. They seem to have the money. A midget fortune teller escaped from jail. The headline in the newspaper was, Small, Medium, at Large. A husband said, husbands are like wine. They get better with age. And a wife said, had I known that, I would have kept mine in the cellar.